Jumpin' porch cats, can you even believe so much time has passed that it's time to do a Creepy Cheapies mask conversation once again? Well, apparently it has, because you're here and I'm there. So here we go. Creepy Cheapies, where we look for the most interesting releases in the world of monster masks. Yes, they see you. He says hello. Today's horrible monstrosity comes from the weirdos at Trick or Treat Studios. Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios. It's a 2025 release, and boy, it's a good one. You could wear it with just rags and shreddy stuff. I would probably start with some sort of robe, you know, a monk robe, or even just an old bathrobe or something, and then put some torn fabric hanging all over it, and I think that would be good to go. And well, it's difficult to say, it's difficult to assign a gender, let's say, to this particular monster, but it is intended as a female, and it is called the Pit Witch. Wow, yes, the Pit Witch. And no, that's not a sandwich they sell at the local barbecue joint, the Pit Witch, although it would make a good one now that I think of it. Anyway, the Pit Witch is also sometimes known by an even less flattering name that is, well, she doesn't have a name in the movie she's from, but on the set, the guys making the costumes and the effects referred to her as the Pit something else. They called her the Pit... Wait, what? You don't think I should say it? You don't think I should use a swear word on a video? Well, it's not really a full-powered swear word. I mean, it's not exclusively a swear word. It's not really a curse word, is it? And as far as describing her with a curse word, what's wrong with that? She's already cursed, you know. But you don't think I should say? Well, it was a word before it started coming into use as a sort of obscenity. I don't know that it's really a swear word, but all right, I'll be a little more genteel. I'll use a synonym. I'll use a synonym. That's what I'll do. In addition to calling her the Pit Witch, she was also sometimes known as the Pit Complain. Yes. Now, the Pit Complain here is from the movie. How do we know? It says right here on the tag, Army of Darkness, which was the third Evil Dead movie. And actually on screen it said Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness, which is way too silly. But actually this movie was too silly for me. I was disappointed because I expected really scary. Like the first Evil Dead I thought was really scary. The second one, kind of scary, kind of silly. But Army of Darkness is just flat out goofy comedy. And that said, it does have some pretty horrifying images in it, and I wouldn't let my small children watch it. No, I wouldn't. She thinks it's fine for small children. No, I would not let small children watch it, because even though it's goofy and silly and it's comedy, there are moments of, you know, blood and gore and violence and things that look like this popping out that might traumatize some humans. Now, this wonderful sculpture really looks a lot like she looks in the movie, and unfortunately you only get to see her very briefly in the movie, which is a common problem with monsters. They don't always get center stage, you know, but she was sculpted by the legendary Justin Mabry for Trick or Treat Studios. And yeah, that was already up there. We don't need that. By Justin Mabry, the legendary Trick or Treat Studios sculptor and mask designer, who kind of, wow, he's got to be the hardest working human in the monster sculpting business as far as just sheer quantity. I don't know who has sculpted more masks than Justin Mabry. He's kind of the Pat Newman of the 21st century. And if you can't tell, turn around here a bit. She does have some hair, not a lot, kind of thin, but they did a nice job this time, because sometimes mass-produced masks, or production masks, as they are professionally referred to, don't have very real-looking hair, because they have that plasticky stuff that when you look at it up close, it's super wavy, kinky like, and it looks phony and it looks like plastic. I don't like that stuff for most masks. This one has nice, straight, that looks wet and looks realistic. And as far as it being very sparse and skimpy and just put on there in clumps rather than like a realistic head of hair, this is pretty much what she looks like in the movie. And when they call her a witch, I don't think they're talking about a traditional classic witch, like, you know, casting spells and stirring a cauldron and riding a broom. Have you ever tried riding a broom? You did? Really? Well, I wouldn't have expected it. You tried riding a broom, really? But you're in the movie. You're kind of, you know, you're kind of hefty. You're kind of a wide load. Looked to me like. Oh, that's why the broom didn't work out. Oh, too heavy for the broom. Why? What happened? Kept flying off the handle. Don't doubt it. Anyway, I don't think she's the classic style witch. I think she's more just the scary thing that pops out of the dark at the haunted trail or the haunted forest or the haunted house and just goes rah at people and scares people. She's also a lovely addition to your mask collection or your Evil Dead collection because she's a pretty darn fine prop replica, and I like the fact that instead of putting hair on like you know, like a traditional zombie or a humanoid character would have in little layers, they put this super long dangly hair that sort of hangs and flops around. And you're asking, what have you got inside that mask? Well, I wanted something dark in there just so it would look a little better for the camera. The eye cuts are just above her eyes, okay? And if you were going to be wearing this for hours and hours, you might be okay, or you might want to cut those a little bigger very carefully. Have an adult do that. Yeah. Preferably not a mask collector because they're a little weird. Somebody with a steady hand, you know. Look at that nice paint. Man, that's cool paint. Anyway, what's inside her happens to be a black plastic bag, which I have over one of these old-fashioned, old-school styrofoam heads. And I'm going to ask you guys, do you know any place that still makes these? These used to be very common, and you could find them pretty readily from different dealers. Nowadays, I never see these anymore, so I don't know where to get them. As you can see, this one's been around the block, and it did at one point cut its own nose off to try to spite its face, as you can see. But these were pretty cool because they were good length, and this was a very nice base, very nice solid bottom to put a lot of masks on. The only problem I found with these is that it's, I don't know if you can see this, it's designed with the head looking that way slightly instead of looking completely. So it's a little bit asymmetrical. So if you're putting it inside a mask, you're going to maybe want to put some stuffing in there, or stuffing or potatoes, you know, something to make sure that the slight angle of the face isn't causing any distortion to the latex in the mask, which is not a problem the Pit Witch has to worry about because she's got a huge face that sticks way out there, and she's got a great big head. And since she has such a big head and a big back of the head, look at that profile. That's a profile? Look at that. You might need to stuff some foam rubber or padding or even wadded up paper or something in the back there to get this to line up with your eyes right if you're going to wear it, because it's so big it might flop down a little bit. And you know, I hate to in the times in the past I've worn a mask, I hate it when the eyes are like down here somewhere instead of where they should be, and they're down here, and then you're like looking at, oh well, I can see the ground, you know. That's, I don't like that. So you might need to put a little something, or you know, strap a potato to the top of your head. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, she thinks that's a good idea. Look at the cool paint job and the nice shiny glossy stuff and the black slime dripping out of her. Is that blood? The black stuff. Is that supposed to be blood? Not yours. Oh, okay. And another thing I like, You probably saw this a minute ago, but if not, take a look again. Look at the coolness of the outlining of the eyes, because she has slight little subtle bloodshot lines, little tiny red veins in the eyeballs. No, not red vines, that's a candy. Broken capillaries, can I say that? Anyway, she sells for around 80 bucks, and big thumbs up for the very scary, very collectible, I think, very cool, big, she's queen size, the big Army of Darkness Pit Witch from Trick or Treat. Add one to the haunted attraction today. And I just have one more thing I'm going to tell you, and I'll save it until right after this break of 1 week.